Imagine stumbling into a dusty Nevada cave and pulling out mummified bodies with long, flowing red hair. These bodies were so tall and strange that local tribes passed down terrifying stories for centuries. Those stories spoke of cannibal giants who once terrorized the land and clashed violently with everyone. In 1911, two guano miners thought they had found the impossible hidden beneath layers of ancient dust. But here's what will challenge everything you believe about ancient America and its earliest mysterious inhabitants. Modern DNA analysis has finally delivered its verdict, and the results are far more shocking than the legends. If you think Native American prehistory is just simple Bering Strait crossings, you are deeply mistaken. You are about to discover how much deeper, more complex, and more contested the real story truly is. Stay with me, because what the genetics revealed doesn't just rewrite one cave's entire history. It forces us to rethink human migrations across the Americas and the power of ancient oral traditions. It also makes us question why some mysteries refuse to die even when modern science steps in. Don't click away, because by the end of this, your understanding of ancient America will be transformed. You'll see how one limestone shelter holds clues connecting 10,000-year-old mummies to living tribes today. The truth is wilder than you expect, and it still leaves room for legends that echo through time. Let's go back to the beginning. Lovelock Cave sits in Churchill County, Nevada, in the ancient desert. It overlooks what was once the massive Pleistocene Lake Lahontan, a lush and marshy paradise. That ancient lake was rich with fish, birds, and edible plants that sustained life for millennia. This dry limestone shelter, about 150 feet long, acted like a natural time capsule. Its arid conditions preserved everything inside with remarkable detail across thousands and thousands of years. In 1911, miners David Pugh and James Hart were digging for bat guano when they made a discovery. They uncovered artifacts and human remains buried beneath layers of sediment in that ancient Nevada cave. Word spread quickly, drawing the attention of scientists and institutions from across the entire country. By 1912, UC Berkeley archaeologist L.L. Loud led the very first official scientific dig at the site. A major follow-up expedition in 1924 brought archaeologist Mark Raymond Harrington back to Lovelock Cave. Together, they recovered thousands of items, including intricate baskets, nets, and woven duck decoys. These duck decoys were made from tule reeds and feathers and are among the oldest ever found. They represent one of the finest collections of ancient artifacts discovered anywhere in all of North America. And yes, among all those remarkable finds, the excavators also recovered actual mummified human bodies. The northern Paiute people have long told of the Sitka, a mysterious and feared red-haired people. They were sometimes described as giants or cannibals who clashed violently with local tribes for generations. Sarah Winnemucca Hopkins, a prominent Paiute author, detailed these outsiders in her 1883 book about her people. She described how these red-haired raiders attacked villages, took captives, and terrorized the surrounding communities. According to the oral tradition, local tribes eventually drove them into a cave and burned them out. She even mentioned personally possessing a dress trimmed with locks of their distinctive reddish hair. These stories aren't unique to one group. They resonate across northern Paiute and related cultural traditions. But archaeology paints a richer and far more grounded picture than legends alone could ever provide. What exactly did the digs reveal, and how did they line up with the DNA bombshell? Keep watching, because the deeper we go, the more intriguing and surprising this entire story becomes. The artifacts tell of a highly adapted people who mastered survival in a challenging ancient environment. Massive sandals dating back around 10,000 years are among the earliest footwear finds in the Americas. Sophisticated duck decoys from roughly 2,000 years ago show remarkable craftsmanship and hunting intelligence. Preserved ancient feces were also analyzed and revealed a diet heavy in lahontan, cutthroat trout, and waterfowl. Their diet also included cattails and bulrush, making them expert foragers thriving in a rich wetland world. These were not primitive wanderers. They were specialists perfectly tuned to an environment that later disappeared. Now, let's address the giants. Early sensational accounts spoke of 7 to 10 foot tall skeletons, but professional measurements from excavated collections put most individuals around 6 feet or slightly under that. They were tall and robust for the era, likely because of their exceptional protein-rich wetland diet. Their heights fall well within normal human variation and do not support claims of supernatural giant races. No verified giant bones matching the extreme claims have ever been documented in any major museum collection. Anthropologist Adrian Mayer and others point out that mammoth or cave bear fossils may have caused confusion. Early tourist hype almost certainly fueled many of the wildly exaggerated tales that spread across the country. The red hair is where science gets genuinely fascinating and where the real explanation surprises most people. In dry, alkaline cave conditions, the dark pigment eumelanin breaks down faster than the red pigment pheomelanin. Dark hair commonly turns reddish or rusty over centuries through a well-documented process called taphonomic change. This same transformation has been observed in Egyptian mummies and ancient remains found at sites worldwide. The consensus from multiple scientific analyses is that the color change happened after death, not before. This was not a living population of natural redheads like some European groups, it was chemistry. But here's where the story takes its single biggest turn. What did modern DNA analysis actually show? Researchers sequenced genomes from Lovelock Cave remains, including a key individual known simply as Lovelock 4. This individual was dated to around 200 AD, making the remains roughly 1,800 years old. The results revealed mitochondrial DNA haplogroup D1 and Y-DNA haplogroup Q, both hallmark Native American lineages. These genetic markers connect closely to the Spirit Cave mummy, over 10,600 years old. That mummy was found at a nearby Nevada site and belongs to the same ancient genetic family. The DNA also links the Lovelock people directly to modern Paiute Shoshone peoples living in the region today. A landmark 2018 study published in Science analyzed Spirit Cave, Lovelock samples, and many others across continents. The international team confirmed these ancient individuals were genetically closest to contemporary Native American populations. This helped overturn older ideas of separate Paleo-American groups that were supposedly unrelated to today's indigenous peoples. The Lovelock people were part of a deep and unbroken Native American genetic continuum stretching back millennia. One intriguing detail: certain Lovelock Y-DNA subclades show rare or basal branches within their genetic grouping. Some analyses hint at deep Eurasian roots shared with the broader migration wave that first peopled the Americas. A modern individual in Oregon showed a close genetic match, demonstrating remarkable continuity over nearly 2,000 years. This doesn't support fringe claims of European giants or lost tribes arriving from across the Atlantic Ocean. Instead, It highlights the incredible diversity and layered complexity of early American peopling across thousands of years. So how do we reconcile the Paiute legends of violent conflict with these solid scientific findings today? Oral histories often preserve real events, including inter-group rivalries and competition for shrinking marsh resources. Climate shifts may have intensified conflicts as wetlands dried up and resources became increasingly scarce over time. The cannibal element might reflect extreme behaviors under severe resource stress within a struggling ancient community. Direct skeletal evidence of violence or ritual cannibalism at Lovelock itself, however, remains limited and inconclusive. The dramatic last stand in the cave could symbolize broader cultural clashes as the Great Basin environment changed. Archaeologically, the Lovelock culture fits into the Western-stemmed tradition and archaic Great Basin patterns perfectly. These were not isolated anomalies, but mobile and semi-sedentary groups expertly exploiting ancient pluvial lake systems. Nearby sites like Hidden Cave and Spirit Cave reinforce a human presence spanning over 10,000 years. Recent analyses even show genetic links between Spirit Cave Paleo-Indians and later Lovelock people across centuries. This suggests long-term continuity rather than total replacement, even during major and devastating regional droughts. The sensationalism around Lovelock persists for good reason. It taps into our deep fascination with mysterious outsiders. Tall strangers, preserved mummies, and epic battles are the ingredients of stories that refuse to be forgotten. Early newspaper reports of giant mummies being shipped away and lost collections only added more fuel to myths. But rigorous scientific work consistently points to normal statures, indigenous roots, and a grounded human story. Repatriation of Spirit Cave remains to the Fallon Paiute Shoshone tribe in 2016 underscores that living cultural connection. Why does this endure? Because it invites us to appreciate the true and breathtaking complexity of history. The Americas were not a blank slate, but a dynamic landscape shaped by brilliant human adaptation to change. Lovelock's artifacts, including slingstones, fine baskets, and advanced hunting technology, reveal extraordinary ancient ingenuity. These were masters of their world, not mysterious invaders from some distant and unknown foreign land. Consider the daily reality of families harvesting tools for rafts and baskets in an ancient wetland world. They hunted waterfowl with handcrafted decoys, processed seeds and fish, and stored food for harsh seasons. They sheltered in the cave during winters and followed the lakes as water levels constantly fluctuated. The mummies represent natural desiccation in dry desert air. These were ancestors, not invaders from elsewhere. DNA didn't prove a completely new origin story. It affirmed deep indigenous roots with fascinating subclade diversity. It continues to refine our understanding of multiple early migration waves and admixtures across ancient North America. New sequencing could reveal even more from remaining samples, keeping this field alive and rapidly evolving. Debates about pre-Clovis coastal routes, intra-American movements, and how oral traditions encode history remain vibrant today. The Lovelock red-haired mummies stand as powerful evidence of remarkable human resilience across thousands of years. From Ice Age arrivals to thriving in a changing Great Basin, their cultural thread holds remarkably strong. The legends add color and drama, reminding us that history lives in both stories and scientific laboratories. What do you think? Does the DNA settle the debate, or do the oral traditions hint at more? Let me know in the comments below. Share this with someone who loves real ancient mysteries and history. Thanks for watching all the way through. Stay curious, and I will see you in the very next one.